Okay, picture this. The undead are shuffling down your street. Ever wonder if your personality, maybe even your zodiac sign, holds the key to surviving?
It's a wild thought, isn't it? But yeah, forget your daily horoscope for finding love. We're talking grit, wit, and maybe some cosmic luck against the Walking Dead.
Exactly. We've actually dug deep into a bunch of sources that try to rank the signs by their survival chances in, full-blown zombie apocalypse.
Right, sources that look at astrological traits and map them onto, well, essential survival strategies. It's kind of a celestial cheat sheet for outlasting the horde.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to give you a clear, maybe entertaining breakdown of which signs the experts, or at least these sources, think have the best shot.
And crucially, why? We'll highlight those key survival traits and see how different signs might, embody them. Or not.
Okay, let's get tactical. When the zombies are banging at the door, what core strengths do you even need?
Fundamentally, it seems to break down along the elemental lines. Let's start with the earth signs. That's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn.
The grounded ones. Exactly, their big advantage. Resourcefulness. Think finding shelter, fortifying it, rationing supplies like a pro, and maybe even building a community that lasts.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty stuff. You need that to actually live through it, not just survive the first encounter.
Totally. Then you got the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius.
Love the action heroes?
Kind of. Their strength is combativeness. They're often fearless, maybe the first to grab a weapon and, charge.
But is that always smart? Sounds like it could be. Reckless.
That's the downside, yeah. That fire can burn bright, but maybe lead them straight into a trap if they don't think first. Risk of recklessness is high.
Okay, so earth builds, firefights. What about air? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius?
Air's about the mind, leadership and strategy. They're the quick thinkers, the planners, the ones who might come up with, an ingenious trap or a communication system.
Sounds useful, but could they get stuck in their heads, overthinking it while a zombie is munching? That's the potential pitfall. Analysis paralysis. Sometimes you just need to act, not debate the optimal angle for zombie decapitation.
Right. And finally, the water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces.
Their strength is more intuitive, maybe healing. They might sense danger, be good at stealth, and definitely crucial for patching people up physically and emotionally.
The empaths of the apocalypse.
Yeah, but that empathy, it could be a double-edged sword. Caring too much, maybe making choices based on emotion rather than cold, hard survival logic. Some sources call it fatal empathy.
Oof, fatal empathy. Okay, so we have the elemental toolkits now. The moment of truth, the rankings. Who's first on the zombie menu? The first to go tier.
Well, consistently, Libra seems to pop up here.
Oh dear, why Libra?
Indecisiveness is the big one. When things go sideways fast, you can't really afford to weigh every single option or, try to charm the zombies.
Charm the zombies, seriously.
Well, maybe not literally, but that peace-loving nature, that desire for harmony, it might make them hesitate or try diplomacy when diplomacy isn't really on the table. Plus, optimism can be blinding.
Maybe they just want a hug. Nope, definitely brains. Okay, who else is in this unfortunate early exit category?
Pisces often joins Libra here. That deep sensitivity can be overwhelming in the face of sheer horror. They might freeze up.
Yeah, I can see that. Just sensory overload.
Exactly. Or they might retreat into, denial or fantasy. And that kindness, that empathy, it could make them vulnerable, maybe trusting the wrong people or hesitating to defend themselves.
So the dreamers and the diplomats might struggle right out of the gate. Okay, let's move up a notch. The mid-pack survivors. Who manages to stick around a bit longer?
This is where it gets interesting. You see Sagittarius here quite often.
The adventurer. That sounds promising.
It has its pros. They're optimistic, good at scavenging, probably great for morale. But that same adventurous spirit, it can lead them right into a zombie nest because they had to see what was over that hill. Impulsive exploration is risky.
Wanderlust versus staying alive. Tricky balance. Who else is mid-pack?
Gemini. Highly adaptable, quick-witted, they'd make great scouts, maybe set clever traps, gather intel. That dual nature might even help them detach a bit emotionally.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
There often is. For Gemini, prolonged stress, being cooped up, it could lead to restlessness, maybe even betrayal or recklessness.
Right.
Cabin fever hits them hard, potentially.
Okay, adaptable but potentially unreliable under pressure. Got it.
Right.
What about the king of the jungle, Leo?
Leo. Also mid-pack. They bring charisma, they can rally the troops with a great speech, boost morale like nobody's business.
Sounds like leadership material.
Yes. But is it backed by practical skills? Sometimes that confidence might mask incompetence, or their ego might lead to decisions that benefit their image more than the group's survival. Grandstanding in an apocalypse. Maybe not ideal.
Right, speeches don't stop zombies. Okay, and who's the last one in this middle tier?
Cancer, the nurturer. They're fantastic at stockpiling supplies, creating a safe haven, taking care of people's emotional needs, fiercely protective of their loved ones.
That sounds really valuable. What's the catch?
Remember that water sign empathy? For Cancer, those strong emotional attachments could lead to self-sacrifice. Maybe trying to save someone who's already bitten, risking the whole group. Leaving no one behind sounds noble, but...
That might mean everyone gets left behind. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mid-pack has potential, but also some serious vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Now, for the top tier, the final survivors, who do the stars favor to make it through?
Okay, leading the pack, almost universally across the sources we looked at, is Scorpio.
Scorpio, why them? They seem intense.
That intensity works here. They apparently thrive in chaos. Their natural distrust keeps them alert. They're strategic, ruthless when necessary, excellent at hoarding resources, and eliminating threats quietly.
The silent, deadly strategist. Sounds effective. Any downside?
Maybe that they can be too distrustful, the lone wolf tendency. Might be hard for them to fully integrate into a group or trust others, which could be a problem long-term when cooperation is needed.
Trust no one, plan for everything. Makes sense for a Scorpio. Okay, who else is in this elite survival club?
Capricorn, the ultimate planner. Think spreadsheets for zombie evasion routes.
Huh? I can picture it.
Seriously, they're the ones building the impenetrable fortress, rationing food for decades, probably setting up the post-apocalyptic government. Discipline, long-term thinking, that's their game.
So they're building the future while everyone else is just trying to survive the day. What could possibly go wrong for Capricorn?
Rigidity, maybe. They love their plans, their structure. What happens when something totally unexpected occurs? A new zombie type, a sudden catastrophe. They might be slow to adapt if it's not in the manual.
Right, you'd be able to improvise. Okay, who's next in the final survivor lineup?
Aries. Despite the recklessness we talked about earlier, they often land in the top tier.
Really? How does that work?
That fearlessness, that charge into battle energy, it can be incredibly effective in a direct confrontation. Their bravery inspires others, and those quick reflexes are a lifesaver against lunging zombies.
So the impulsiveness can be channeled into effective action.
Exactly. But the downside is still that same impulsiveness. They need to learn to pick their battles, maybe not charge every single zombie they see. A little caution goes a long way.
Survive to fight another day. Makes sense. Who else?
Virgo, the analytical powerhouse. They're your medics, your engineers. They're sterilizing wounds, MacGyvering traps out of junk, organizing the supplies, creating the survival blueprints. Detail-oriented to the max.
The ones who keep everything actually working. Sounds indispensable. Potential flaw.
Overthinking. That same analytical mind can get stuck. Analysis paralysis when a quick, maybe imperfect, decision is needed right now. They might be searching for the perfect solution while the zombies are breaking down the door.
Right, sometimes good enough has to be good enough. Keep the list going.
Taurus. Stubborn, practical, and incredibly enduring. They bunker down, fortify their hideout, stockpile like crazy. Their sheer endurance and calm reliability are huge assets for morale and just plain outlasting the problem.
The immovable object versus the undead force.
I like it.
Weakness.
And flexibility. What happens if that bunker is compromised? That stubbornness won't make them resist leaving, even when it's the only option. They don't like being forced to change plans or locations.
Gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them, even if you're a Taurus. Okay, who's the last sign consistently ranked as a final survivor?
Aquarius. The innovator, the visionary. They're engineering new defenses, figuring out ways to communicate, thinking outside the box. Their logical detachment helps them make tough calls without getting emotional.
The brains of the outfit, coming up with clever solutions. What's the potential Achilles heel?
Sometimes that idealism can get in the way. They might be focused on grand futuristic solutions like negotiating with the zombies or building overly complex, untested gadgets when a simpler, more immediate approach is needed.
Right, focus on the zombie at the door before you design the zombie-proof utopia. Okay, so we have our top tier Scorpio, Capricorn, Aries, Virgo, Taurus, Aquarius. If you had to pick one ultimate survivor based on these sources.
It really does seem to lean towards Scorpio most often. That blend of cunning, resilience, ruthlessness, and strategic patience seems tailor-made for navigating the dangers, both undead and human, of a post-apocalyptic world.
Trust no one, plan for everything. Seems like a solid mantra.
It does. Now, looking across all the different analyses and rankings we found, is there a clear consensus beyond just Scorpio?
Yeah, those 6 we just listed, Scorpio, Capricorn, Aries, Virgo, Taurus, Aquarius, they consistently show up. It seems to be that combination of practical skills, mental fortitude, adaptability, and strategic thinking.
And it covers all the essential roles, doesn't it? You've got your strategists, planners, fighters, organizers, providers, innovators. It's like a well-rounded survival party.
It really is. The protector strategist, Scorpio, planner leader, Capricorn, fighter leader, Aries, organizer medic, Virgo, provider morale anchor, Taurus, and inventor community builder, Aquarius. Quite the team.
And what's interesting is how these traits, resilience, planning, courage, innovation, resourcefulness, align with what real-world crisis experts say you need. It's not just astrology, it taps into recognized survival psychology.
Even if the context is, zombies and star signs, it's grounded in something real.
Exactly. It's a fun way to explore traits that are genuinely important for overcoming adversity.
Okay, we've laid out the astrological odds, the tiers, the top contenders. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think? Visit the links in the description below to check out the sources we use for this deep dive.
Yeah, explore them for yourself, and definitely share your own zombie survival strategies and your sign in the comments. Do you agree with where your sign landed? Let us know.
All right, let's recap, maybe using some insights from one of our key sources, like the tiered survival approach. We had the final survivors.
Right, the ones with the grit, planning, adaptability: Scorpio, Capricorn, Aries, Virgo, Taurus. And interestingly, some sources loop Gemini and Aquarius firmly into this top tier too, making it an elite 7.
Okay, so Gemini gets a promotion in some books.
Seems so, maybe emphasizing their adaptability and intel gathering over the potential downsides. Then the mid-pack.
That was Sagittarius, Leo, Cancer, optimism, charisma, empathy, good traits, but with risky tendencies attached.
Exactly, and the first to go, sadly.
Libra and Pisces, mainly due to things like indecision, maybe getting overwhelmed, or lacking those immediate practical survival instincts.
And some analyses try to justify these rankings beyond just astrology. They link these elite 7 survival signs to psychological traits like conscientiousness, openness to experience, emotional stability, things actually studied in relation to survival.
So connecting the stars to actual psychology research.
Some sources attempt it, yeah. They even mention medical survival studies supposedly linking some signs to higher survival rates, though they always caution heavily against reading too much into that. It's correlational at best, likely noise.
Right, correlation isn't causation, especially with astrology. Still fascinating, though.
And they even reference things like observed resilience during the COVID-19 pandemic, suggesting signs like Taurus, Virgo, Aries, Sagittarius, and Gemini showed certain adaptive strengths. It's all very speculative, of course, but it adds layers to the fun. What about those elemental tendencies, again, in the thick of it? Yeah, the fun astrological links. Earth signs are seen as the builders, fortifying, grounding. Fire signs are the fighters, taking the offensive. Air signs are strategizing, communicating, planning tactics. And water signs are intuiting danger, healing, providing that emotional support.
Everyone has a role based on their element. It's a neat framework.
Definitely. And summing up the key takeaways from one comprehensive source. Survival is complex, needing lots of different skills.
The elements shape the approach. Fire offense, earth defense, air tactics, water support.
It's hypothetical fun, blending two popular genres, astrology and zombies.
You get those tiered outcomes we discuss.
The top contenders are generally the resilient, strategic, resourceful signs.
And crucially, teamwork matters. Even a lone wolf Scorpio might need help eventually. Everyone has a role.
Before we even got into rankings, some sources laid out the apocalypse ground rules. Like, what kind of scenario are we even talking about?
Right, good point. What's the setting?
Usually it's classic zombies, maybe slow, maybe fast, but definitely brain hungry. Society has collapsed, resources are scarce, trust is a luxury.
And survival isn't just about fighting, is it?
Not at all. It's finding food and water, stealth, long-term planning, and just sheer mental fortitude to keep going when everything has gone wrong.
And those essential survival traits they defined, what were the key ones again?
Let's see. Resourcefulness, finding stuff. Combativeness, bravery, fighting or facing danger. Leadership, guiding others. Stealth evasion, not getting caught. Medical nurturing, fixing people up. Teamwork, social skills, getting along, organizing. Strategic thinking, planning ahead. Adaptability, changing plans. And calm under pressure practicality, not freaking out.
That's a pretty solid list for any disaster, zombie or otherwise.
Totally. And then they map the signs to those skills, broadly speaking.
Like we discussed with the elements, fire signs lean towards combat and maybe leadership. Earth towards resourcefulness, practicality, defense. Air towards strategy, communication, adaptability. Water towards intuition, nurturing, maybe stealth.
Exactly. Those are the general tendencies highlighted. And the rankings flowed from how well each sign seemed to embody a mix of those vital skills.
So just recapping those rankings one last time from that perspective. First, to go Libra, indecision, conflict avoidance, and Pisces, overwhelmed, escapism.
Mid-pack Sagittarius, reckless exploration. Gemini, adaptable but potentially unreliable. Leo, charismatic but maybe impractical. Cancer, nurturing but potentially self-sacrificing.
And the final survivor, Scorpio, strategic, ruthless. Capricorn, planner, builder. Aries, fighter, brave. Virgo, analytical, resourceful. Taurus, steadfast, enduring. Aquarius, innovative, logical.
And the sources even speculated on specific tactics. Aries, direct combat. Taurus, fortification. Gemini, information network. Cancer, protecting the family unit.
Inspirational leadership. Virgo, meticulous organization. Libra, attempting diplomacy. Good luck. Stealth and secret.
Sagittarius, exploration and scavenging. Capricorn, establishing order and government. Aquarius, technological innovation. Pisces, offering comfort and intuition.
It paints a picture of how each might try to navigate the end of the world. What about long-term? Rebuilding society.
Yeah, some sources touched on that. Capricorn obviously is seen as a potential leader in rebuilding. Virgo and Taurus would be crucial for infrastructure and stability. Aquarius for innovation. Maybe even Libra could help with establishing new social contracts if they survive the initial chaos.
So different signs might shine at different phases of the apocalypse.
Potentially, yeah. Immediate survival versus long-term rebuilding might favor different traits.
And it's worth remembering these rankings are debatable, right? Signs have hidden strengths.
Absolutely. The sources often include caveats. Maybe a Libra learns to be decisive. Maybe a Pisces finds unexpected courage. Maybe an Aries learns caution. People are more than just their sun sign, too.
True. There's the moon sign, rising sign, the whole astrological chart. Oh, speaking of which, one source actually crowned Capricorn as the ultimate survivor, not Scorpio.
Oh, interesting. A different perspective. Why Capricorn?
Ruthless pragmatism, apparently. Building impenetrable forts, strict quarantine protocols, like really strict, bargaining resources effectively, making tough, decisive calls. They even had a humorous, unsourced statistic that 78% of doomsday cult leaders are Capricorns.
Huh. Okay, that paints a picture. Intense. So they emphasize Capricorn's organizational ruthlessness over Scorpio's stealthy kind.
Seems like it.
Right.
That source also argue that while Aries is combat ready, their impulsiveness makes them less likely to survive long term compared to the disciplined Capricorn.
Makes sense. What about other signs from that perspective?
They mention the risk of cancers sheltering infected loved ones, that fatal empathy again.
Ah, yes. A recurring theme.
And pitfalls for air signs like Aquarius's ingenious traps failing spectacularly, or Libra just dithering too long in an emergency.
Right, theory versus messy reality.
And a fun jab at Sagittarius owning fancy bows, but maybe not knowing how to maintain them properly for the long haul.
Hey, details matter in the apocalypse. Did they mention moon signs much?
Briefly. Just hinted that your moon sign could influence things too, like a Scorpio moon giving someone better night vision, or a Gemini moon making someone easily distracted even if their sun sign is focused. Adds another layer of complexity.
So many variables. It really highlights how this is a fun thought experiment more than a prediction.
Exactly. So wrapping this all up, while we've had a fun, maybe slightly morbid, deep dive into the astrological chances of surviving zombies, what's the real takeaway?
I think it's that real survival depends on your individual skills, your ability to adapt, your resilience, and yeah, maybe a little bit of luck, cosmic or otherwise, regardless of your zodiac sign.
It's about what you can do, not just what your sign is.
Precisely. The stars might offer a fun lens, but you're the one who has to, swing the axe or find the canned peaches.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on, listener. Thinking about these astrological ideas and the real survival traits we discussed. What unexpected strength might your sign, or just you, bring to a crisis? Zombie or, something more mundane?
And maybe more practically, What skills could you start developing now, just in case the stars or the undead decide to align in an unexpected way? A little preparation never hurt anyone.
Food for thought indeed. Thank you so much for joining us on this unique, deep dive into celestial survival guides.
It was fun. Stay safe out there, whether it's from zombies or just, Mercury retrograde.